Welcome everyone to today's interesting section. So let's start joining as we look at today's interesting conversation. As we look at today's interesting conversation, let's start joining. Let's start
Layer
joining.
one blockchain that we focus.
Let's start joining. As we
And so
discuss.
this is where I guess Aura Network came about.
So let's start joining as we look at Aura Network in today's conversation. Today we'll be looking at Aura Network. What does Aura Network actually mean? What is the explanation behind Aura Network? That is what we will be looking at in our discussion today. So waiting for others to actually connect live so that we can actually go live with what we're about to talk about in the course of today's section. So today we're looking at the Aura Network. What is Aura Network actually really all about? Now, looking at the market, we'll actually be trading on it on Gate.io. That is where we'll be looking at this token Aura Network. What is it all about in Aura Network? What is it really all about on Gate.io? I believe we all have idea what NFT is actually really all about when looking at NFT himself, everything behind NFT and all those that we have, all those points that we have behind NFTs and all that. So this is this is not actually, but this is the oral network. I'll be looking at it. What is it really all about when talking about it? And so now, in getting a deeper idea about what this oral network is actually really all about, one point we actually need to know when looking at what is this really all about. One interesting point that is very important that we need to take note of. Looking now, you can see it here on Gate.io. You can see the current market cap. You can see let's go to Gate.io to actually get explanation about what this token is actually, what is currently going on ongoing in this token when looking at it on the real sense and all that. Now, one point we need to know, one point that is actually very important when looking at this. You can see it on currently on Gate.io. You can see what this token is currently working on, what it's currently doing on Gate.io. When we look at it, you can see it here. You can see it here. You can see how it's trading here. Okay, now you can see how the rate it is trading here. You can see the current rate. Let me draw it up. Let me do it kind of. Let's get it down. Let's get this down. Let's push this up. Now you can see the movement of price there. You can see the way the movement of price has actually been over here and all that. Now it's currently at 0.06, 0.0336 and thereabouts. You can see it's currently at this area, and you can see the range of buying and selling. I do tell you guys that it's all about supply and demand. What is the rate of supply and demand in the market space? That is what actually predicts the price of the market, or how the market is actually going to look like in a long run. We're actually looking at all these actually basic factors that we need to consider when looking at the market itself. Who are the people actually behind this token that we're actually talking about? What is the token actually really all about? All those factors are actually very important that we need to take note of when talking about this and other. So welcome everyone, welcome everyone to today's interesting session. Please, if you're just joining me for the first time, you are welcome to today's interesting section. You can kindly just comment on the chat box to show you are online, so that you will be signified. I see that we have a very interesting section as we move ahead in the course of today's section. So please, I'm waiting for your comment on the chat box. So if you're just joining us for the first time, you can kindly just comment on the chat box to show that you are online with us and ready to ride on with what we are actually talking about in the course of today's interesting section. So all this actually talking about are actually important point that we need to take note of when talking about this token, when talking about what this token is actually really all about, what we need to take note of when analyzing them, when trying to get a kind of a deeper idea to what they are actually really all about, and other. All these are actually important point that we need to actually take note of when looking at it and all that. All the actually important point that we need to look at when analyzing what they are actually really all about, when looking at it on the real sense. And other one point is actually very important that we need to take note of when looking at. Now let's look at deep. Let's get a kind of idea about what this token is actually all about when talking about it. What is this project actually really all about? Now from here, now you can see it here. You can see the total supply that we have and the total number that is issued in the market. You can see the current supply. You can see the block website and all that. You can see that this is the block website in which you'll actually be going and you check it. Okay, this network, what have they been doing so far? What is the network really all about? How are they actually been of impact in the community? Now I just tell you guys that, okay, now is it actually solving a problem? Now if it's solving a problem, that means it's actually a good idea. But if it's not solving a problem, that means the project will not last long. It's just a fake project that one just want to get a lot of liquidity, a lot of funds, and leave the market over time. But if that is not what they are trying to build, if they are trying to build something that will last for a very long period of time, then let's analyze it. Let's check what they actually. Now you can see the Arrow blockchain or network is the first custom blockchain that provide valuable public infrastructure for a broader economy or ecosystem when looking at it, such as Space Safe and also Microscope. Now also we have the network focus on optimizing chain for NFT use cases, help artists and other content providers create a new and user-friendly experience with their digital content, backed from prominent inventors and all that. Apart from that, our network is a kind of partner. It has partnership with international partners that has led the total exposure of over 10 million and 100 million when looking at it. Now the network is actually an ecosystem designed to accelerate global NFT adoption by pre-building the internet. They're building the internet of NFT and brings NFT in web and bringing NFT and Web3 to the massive. That is what they're actually trying to do. So it's something that is actually going. Let me take this out there so that you guys will understand what I'm saying. So that these are all important factors that we need to take note of when looking at this project, when talking about what they're actually really all about, what we need to take note of them when talking about them, and all these actually important factors that we need to actually take note of when looking at them and others. So that is why you actually have it. You can see it. You see that the network is actually an ecosystem. It's actually an ecosystem designed to accelerate global NFT adoption. Now, what do we mean is actually an ecosystem? That's actually designed. The reason why this ecosystem was the primary goal in which it was actually designed is actually promote. It's just actually accelerate the NFT adoption by building the internet of NFT and bringing NFT to the globe and bringing NFT and Web3 to the massive when looking at. So anything that actually makes NFT and this come globally or come to the public eye, that is what they're actually trying to do. That is the insight of what they're actually talking about, which is a very good insight that we need to actually take note of when looking at this project or when trying to analyze what they're actually really all about. And so all these are actually important factors that we need to actually take note of when talking about project like this, when talking about what they're actually really all about, what we need to take note, how can we actually go about them, and that is very, very important. It is very, very important that we take note of all these points when looking at this period. Now, we'll actually be looking at remember we're talking about technical analysis. Now, trying to analyze the token, what is the current price, how can we actually invest in it, how can we actually go about it when looking at the token itself. And now, based on what we have here, what can you actually see the current market? What is the statistics of this market right now? You can see it here. Let's go to our trading view. Let's go to trading view. We're already on trading view. Let's go to trading view to see this token. Now you can see it here on trading view. You can see what is currently going on here on trading view. You can see the market analysis, or let's analyze this token right here on trading view. You can see where it are currently as right now. You can see how the market has been moving so far and all that. Now, is this a good sign? You can see that this is around 0.0360 in the market, and it's moved from this area. Let's bring out our line here. Let's do some basic analysis here. Now, okay, if I bring my line here, join it. Bring it to. Now, let's say we put our line in this area. Well, it's yet to get to that area first, but let's put our line because of the wing. This is the wing. Now, looking at where the wing has reached, let's just put this wing here. Or let's put this wing here. And the first line, it broke the structure in which we have it. You can see this breakage of structure. Let's put it here again. But from that, it broke this line here. It came up, it superseded here again. Let's put it here again. Sorry, this was the line it broke here. And it broke this again. Look at this line here. It came from this area and it broke this line here. So you can see there was a massive buy in the market. That was why you saw this move that we are seeing here currently. There was a massive move in the market that we saw this push that we had here in the market space. And immediately we had this move in the market, you can see this push. Immediately there was a sell off. A few people sold off again in the market space. Now you can see this move. Now let's check this area in which we have here. Let's check this area in which we have here. You can see now if I come down here looking at where it started from and all that, you can see we can actually do this. Let's pick it from here. Let's pick it from here, from this area, or let's just say from this area here. It's yet to break this area here. Is yet to break this area. You can see it came also from this angle. Oh, good morning. Welcome to today's section. Welcome. Thanks for joining us live in today's section. Thank you for joining us live in today's interesting section. Welcome. So now if you draw this slide, now what can you actually say? Now you can see this momentum, you can see this movement here, you can see this movement here in which you have this momentum and movement. You can see this movement plus there was an increase here, there was a decrease here, -2. There was an increase here. You can see the increase in with the tap here in which you have here. Now you can see, now looking at what has been happening here and all that, now you can see this move. There's actually a downward move here and all that. Now what is now the next move? What is the next action of price when looking at this? What is the next action of price when looking at the markets? And so we need to actually understand the movement of price. This is the way, okay, you need to understand, okay, yeah, this is the way the market is moving. This is the way you can actually key into the market when looking at it. This is how I can actually go into the market to actually invest when looking at it before you go into any form of investment whatsoever. So all these points are actually basic points that we need to all take note of, when looking at the market, when looking at what is currently going on the market, what are the various factors we need to consider. All these are actually important factors that we need to actually take into consideration when looking at the markets himself, when looking at what is going on in the market, all the basic points and all that. All these are actually important points that we need to actually take note of when looking at the market. You can see from this area in which you have here, you can see a lot of ranging, buying and selling, little buying, little selling in the market that is all what we can actually see here when looking at the market. And those are all these actually important points that we need to take note, all actually important points that we need to take note of when looking at the market himself. What is currently happening in the market? What is the market currently saying when looking at it and all that? So now this is just different form of strategy in which they use in trading, in which you can actually see different people, different strategy skills in which they used to trade, and they use in the trading skills and all that. So now with this alone, what can you actually say is happening in the market. With this alone, what is your own prediction that okay, yeah, this is what is currently happening in the market? This is how you can actually take advantage of the market. You can see the week here, you can see this week here, you can see the movement that we have here, you can see this break of structure, you can see this China breakout, you can see the breakout, all these areas in here you have here is actually a breakout. You can see the breakout we have here, you can see the breakout we have here, you can see this area in which you have here. Now all this actually, now the break of structure is actually going to predict okay, now that okay, this is the area in which the market is moving, this is the angle in which the market is going, another, which is a very very important factor that we need to take note of, that we all need to take the when looking at, when analyzing the market. So if there is no break of structure, or if there is no any structure that is actually going to break another, you can actually predict that okay, this is the area in which the market is actually going. This is what we need to know when looking at the market. And so there's actually a break of structure in which actually gives you direction on the area in which the market is going, what you need to know about the market, what are the various important factors you need to consider, you really need to consider when looking at the market, and all these points are actually very very important that we need to actually take note of when looking at the market, or when looking at what is currently happening in the market. What are the various factors that we all need to consider when looking at the market himself? And so all these points are actually very very important that we all need to take note of, are very very important that we all need to take note of when looking at the market and all that. I believe you guys are actually getting what I'm actually dishing out to you guys in the course of today's session. I believe you guys are actually getting what I'm actually dishing out in the course of today's important and interesting section. So now, apart from this, what other important points do we need to take note of when looking at the market space, instead when looking at what is currently going on in the market? What are the various factors? Now we all know that okay, all this analysis are actually very very important when analyzing the market, when trying to get okay, this is what is currently going on. But what other tools do we need to understand that we need to take note of? Now you can see this area here, it's here to break this area downward and other. So what is the cause of all this? What is the cause of this movement in the market? Remember I told you guys that it's all about buying and selling, all about the rates in which the buyer or the supply and demand. Supply and demand is one important factors that you must all consider. Is there enough liquidity in the market and all that? All this, and also most times it actually follows the trend of other crypto or other markets. Now, what is other markets saying? What is the other points of market? What are they saying concerning the project and all that? What is there enough buying and selling in the market and all that? All these are actually important points that actually give you direction on what the market is actually. So now, this network right now, you have to understand that okay, there is something behind. There's something that's actually that they're actually running on, and other, not just the network alone, not just the token alone that you used to. Now the network, most of those people just use the network as fee and other, in which you can actually trade from it and do other stuff from it. But apart from this aspect, what other points of focus that do we need to actually take note of when looking at project, like when looking at okay, this is what this project is actually really about, this is how we can actually make an edge or make advantage of this project when looking at it on the real sense, and at what point do we need to take note of when looking at it? Now let's look at the coin. Let's go to CoinMarketCap to actually get more analysis about this token that we're actually, and let's go to CoinMarketCap to get. Now you can see on CoinMarketCap, you can see where currently is currently red, the market, you can see the market is currently red. Now, looking at where the market started from, looking at where it is currently, and all those factors are actually important factors that actually predict, that actually shows the movement of the market. And you can see now, this is actually 0.03 thereabout, and you can see where it started from. You can see the movement of the market on the all time. You can see okay, you can see now it's most from this area in which you have here. That was around, I think this project was actually on board 2021, but from this area, this place, it actually gotten to 0.1. It has actually gotten to 0.17 thereabout, and right now it came down. Now it's currently, and so in an all-time time frame, it's actually going to be, it does not actually supersede its all-time high. Looking at it from the time it was actually created to where it is right now, it has actually not superseded its all-time high and all that. When looking at this, okay, and put it in a 7-day time frame, you can see the market is still very red. When looking at it, it's actually minus. When looking at it, minus 24%. Now, looking at it, what exchange, where can you actually get this? You can actually, it's currently on Git.io, in which you can, if you're trying to look at, okay, where can you actually trade this token and other, it's currently on Git.io, in which you can actually go there and trade this token. Is currently on Git.io. It has been listed on Git.io, in which you can actually trade on it when looking at it and all that. Well, now looking at it, looking at the all-time high, you can see here, you can see the all-time high here. You can see the all-time high. This is actually the all-time high and the all-time low. You can see the all-time high here. You can see what I believe. Can you guys see? Yeah, you guys can see it. You can see the all-time high. You can see what we have here. The all-time high. The all-time high is 0.2. That was the all-time. That is the highest in which it has actually got into. The highest in which it actually got into was 0.2, and the lowest, the all-time high of this token currently was the all-time high of this token was 0.2. Why the all-time low? Why the all-time low when looking at it was around why the all-time low was around was 0.3. That means right now we're currently on the all-time low of the market when looking at, well, the fact that we're the all-time low currently of this market, that does not mean the market is not still going to recover. For surely the market is still going to recover if you understand the trend of the market and the way the market has been moving recently, the way the market has been moving, and all that, it is sure that okay, yeah, that the market is still going to recover. We're actually going to see the market recovering. And remember, the halving of Bitcoin halving is also around the corner. All this actually has effect, has its own effect on the market when looking at it on the real sense. And so all these are actually important points that we need to take note of when analyzing all this token, what they are actually really all about and all that. So let's check, what is this news? What are the news? What are they really all about? Based on this, now you can see now introducing the Ura network, a layer 1 NFT central blockchain that aims to expand the limits of NFT currently seen within cryptocurrency and Web3 space. Now, through integrating an adding solution that help introduce the use of NFT across additional and existing industry. Now, the network vision is to create a one-stop destination for mining and also evaluating query and transacting NFT by providing infrastructure that could frozen and also nurture the whole NFT ecosystem as a whole, and also form Minent a secondary buyer. And also, apart from a secondary buyer and all that, and collection creators, when this is what the network is now. How many coins are actually in circulation when looking at it? How many coins are currently in circulation? Now, one thing you need to know that there are actually two types of native coin. There is we have the they actually have two type of coin, native coin, when looking at it and all that, and also the supply on the Uran on the blockchain is around 1 billion when looking at it. So they actually have up to 1 billion when looking at it when looking at the initial circulation, which they also have the initial circulation and all that. Also, who are the founders? Who are the people that actually founded this now? It's actually founded in the year 2020, November 2021, by Benin Blockchain Enterprise and all that. Now, the Phobia Technology Council member and all that, and his ex this in which you can actually go to actually get more news on it. So where can you actually buy? You can actually buy it currently on Gate.io. It's currently on Gate.io. You can see the token distribution, the block 25%, block reward 25%, echo growth we have 21%. We also have all these actually important point that we need to actually take note of when looking at the market, when looking at what is currently up, what are the various factors that we need to all consider. You can see the founder reserve 40%, strategic we have 13%, reserve sale 2%, we have echo growth we have 1%, 1.55%, we have public distribution, we also have public distribution, we have private sale, we have growth, echo growth, and other. All these are actually important factors that are actually very, very important that we need to. So let's go to the website. So now you can see the website. This is actually the website trying to talk more about what the token is actually really all about, what they've been building. Sorry for that. So I don't know, you guys. So what they've been building for some time, all the important factors that we need to take note of when looking at the market, and also all these are actually important point that we need to take note of when looking at it. Now, based on what we can have here, you can see it here now. You can see it here now. The driving towards adoption, driving towards massive adoption, massive NFT adoption, and other. You can see what they're actually really all about. So they are actually moving towards NFT adoption, trying to adopt NFT when looking at it on the real sense and other. And you can see now this also, you can see what one part of what they do now generate now to the next generator blockchain explorer and all that. We also have there's a lot of factors which can actually go to their website to actually check what they're actually really all about and other. Now one step destination to take web3 move and all that. All these are actually now real-time NFT use cases and utility business solution to transform the Web3. We also have the ecosystem funding. We also have ecosystem funding and furniture focus on customized growth and all that. All this are actually their use cases in which they're actually using to build, in which they're trying to say, okay, this is what we're actually really about. This is what we're actually trying to build. This is where we're actually going, which is an important factors that we need to all consider when looking at the blocking. Now that's why I tell you guys that now if a project is actually building something reasonable, building something that actually has a future tag on it, in which you're building something like, okay, in a future time or a few years to come from now, it has already been built. It's already built in the year 2021, November 20, towards the end of 2021. And looking at what it is currently, looking at the market cap, looking at how it has actually withstanded and it's still ranging, even though looking at the native coin, it was around that last stage, it was around 0.2 thereabouts, and right now it's 0.3 another. Why? The reason why it's on that coin is that because of the market and other. So now a lot of people saying that, okay, now is it now the right time for you to buy? Now just imagine now, for example, with the way Bitcoin is currently, Bitcoin comes down drastically to around probably, let me just say, Bitcoin comes down to around maybe zero, or there was a Bitcoin 2.0 that just came on board, a new launching of Bitcoin, and a lot of people will buy because there's potential that it's actually going to grow more than the way it's actually going to grow in nearest future to come. So that all this actually important point that we need to know when looking at this token, when trying to analyze what they're actually really all about and all that. All this actually important point. And also they also have a website in which you can actually go. So before we go to the website, let's just do a rundown on what now you can see now. Welcome to Run Network, and also this is the starting point where you will learn about an ecosystem, and also you will find advanced topic and section for developers, validators, and exchange and all that. Just now you can see it about, you can actually check what Rare is actually really all about. You can go to the browser. This is actually their website in which you can actually get more updates about what the platform is actually really about, what they do and all that. You can actually get more information. Now let's move ahead to talk. Let's go more, let's check more. You can see it here. You can see listed on, you can see it's actually only listed on Gate.io on this last month. Sorry, it's actually listed on Gate.io last month, which was around 25th of last month. That is why you can see it on Gate.io. You can see that it's not where it started from on Gate.io. Look at where it started from and order. You can see where it started from on Gate.io and order. Let's bring it down. Let's so you guys can actually see it clearly. Now you can see it on Gate.io. This was where it started for. You can see the movement of the market and order. Now it started from this area. It started from this area here on Gate.io. From this area, it moved from this area here. It moved up here. It had a kind of a massive push up here, and it came down. Even though the fact that it came down to this area, which was around 0.04 and all that, and it still pushed up to around 0.0. That was also a kind of a good move when looking at the market. When looking at, and also it's still, I was looking at this wing here, it still have potential of actually still pushing. A lot of people are still predicting the buying of the market. Actually, a lot of investors are actually still looking at, a lot of people are still investing into it. So that is why you see this wing here and all that. It actually had a huge possibility of still pushing up. And if you check it well, you can see the wing that is moving up is actually higher than the people that are selling. So people that actually want to buy more are actually higher than the people that are actually selling, which is actually a good sign of the market when looking at it. So all these are actually important point that we need to know. We need to know when looking at the market, when looking at what the market is actually available, what are the various factors that we need to consider when looking at the market and all that. It's very, very important that we take note of all these points. All these points are actually very, very important that we all need to take note of when looking at the market and all that. All these are actually very, very important that we all need to take note of when looking at this section. Please and please, like I said earlier, if you have any question whatsoever, you're free to ask on the chat box, in which your justice will be done to it as you keep moving. In which you can actually go to their website. You can see their website currently. Now, any project that you're actually going into, I do tell you guys that any project you're actually going into, you have to know their website. What is this project? What do they have a community? A project that does not have community will not last. Let me just put that a project that does not have community would not last. So any project actually has a community, that actually has something that they're actually building, they have something that they're actually impacting lives. For example, we actually have the strength to actually withstand the strength of time over time when looking at it. So you can't just go and invest in any token or invest in any coin or project trader without having a clear understanding about what the project is actually really about, without having a clear understanding the utility behind the project and other. So all these factors are actually very, very important that we know, that we need to actually take note of when looking at the market itself, when looking at what they're actually really all about, what we need to take note of it and other. You can see now, in which you can actually go to their, in which we've checked their website. Let's check more news. Let's check LinkedIn. Let's check, can we enter LinkedIn? Can we go to LinkedIn? Okay, we have to sign up. I don't need to sign up right now. I don't need to sign up. You can see they actually have LinkedIn viewed 57, 34 employees. And you can see their network. You can see company size. It was actually founded in the year 2021. And all that, you can see it, you can see the chairman and all that. So all these are actually very, very important point that now looking at now, you can see that all the employees, and you can see all the employees in which you have, you can actually check. Sorry, I need to log in for me to see more of them. I need to actually log in into my website, into my this thing, so you can actually check them out if you're looking for them. You can see, okay, this is the founder, chairman, this is the chairman of it, this is the founder, chairman, and CTO of the company when looking at it. And also all this actually important point that we need to know when looking at what are they really about, what are the various factors we need to consider when looking at this project and that is there actually what about Facebook? Let's check Facebook. Let's check Facebook. So all this actually important point that we need to know when looking at all this. And you can see now on Facebook, you can see them, you can see what they're actually really all about. You can actually see them and all that. All this actually important point. Now you can see it's actually listed on get.io. You can see the news of when it was actually listed on get.io and all that. So all this actually important points that we need to actually take note of when looking at this project, when looking at what they are actually real about, what they've done when looking at them in a long term and all that. You can see them now. They actually have, how many followers do they have here? Okay, they have 1.9k likes, 2k followers and all that. Now how has been their engagement so far? Okay, they have 10. They don't have actually much engagement. Few people, they actually have few people liking and other, but the engagement is actually low when looking at it, which is not actually you can actually, let's look at Twitter. Let's look at Twitter account. Let's look at their Twitter account. All these points we're actually trying to talk about, it actually gives you direction on what the project is actually real about, what you need to take note of when looking at the project, and all are the various factors that you need to take note. Okay, this is what this project is all about. This is how I can actually go about this project and all that. Now let's check Twitter. Let's check Twitter page. Let's check their Twitter page to get what they're actually really all about. Now you can see based on this Twitter page that you can see that they have 69k followers. It was actually open November. I think when it actually came up, that was when they actually launched this thing. And you can see that they have in their impressions actually 11K, which is a good sign, like this thing. So if looking at the engagement and all that, you can see it's still positive. They're actually having a lot of impression. A lot of people are actually viewing it, and engagement is actually currently ongoing on the platform and all that. You can see bringing Gate.io on board and others, which is actually a good sign when looking at the market, when looking at what they're actually really all about and others. So all this actually important point that we need to take, all the actually important point that we need to take note of when looking at this token, when looking at what they're actually really all about, what are the various factors that we need to consider when looking at this project. And you can actually see them, here. You can see them, you can see engagement on it, you can see all these actually community that are very very important, that are very very crucial in the growth of any project. And so now if you don't have a very good project and all that, you can't actually say okay, this is if they don't have anything they are building and all that, you can actually see a lot of engage. A lot of people will not actually engage and with it, with the post when they post it, and which is actually a good sign. They can actually say okay, this is what really all about this. And also they also have a Discord page. You can actually check more about it and other. So you can send question and answer, frequent question and answer. You can say okay, this just give us clarity and other what they're actually really all about. You can say what is your network. You can see that it's actually a growing custom. It's actually a growing custom blockchain layer one that provide provide a valuable public infrastructure for a broader ecosystem when looking at it on the websites. And also is actually focused on optimizing chain for NFT and use cases, helping artists and other and actually help other content provider to create a form of where say it actually helps help to create a new and user friendly experience for the digital content for their digital content, backed by prominent investors such as FPT Corporation, a leading information technology and other. We have a lot of that are actually investors actually investing with them, and actually the ecosystem is actually designed to accelerate global NFT adoption by building the internet of NFT and bringing NFT and Web3 to the massive when looking at it. Now the layer one, when looking at the layer one blockchain, what is the layer one blockchain? Now the layer one blockchain is actually a fundamental based a network of blockchain platform that performs all the chain transaction and serve as a primary source of truth for public lenders when looking at it on the websites and when looking at what they're actually really all about. And also all these factors are actually very very important that we need to take note of when looking at the markets, what they're actually really all about. And we have also here what is Cosmos, and also how can this relate to, how can we actually read now. Cosmos is actually a decentralized ecosystem built for model and also adaptable, interchangeable, and also and scalable set tools. Now, this allows developers not only to build to their blockchain. This actually helps developers not only build their blockchain network, but also to connect seamlessly with other network provider, which is a very very important point that we need to take note of when looking at the ecosystem, when looking at what they're actually really all about, what we need to. So all these are actually important point that we need to take note of when looking at the market space, when looking at what they're actually really all about, when looking at how we can actually go about it, when looking at it in the long term. And I believe you guys are actually getting this point, which I'm actually dishing out to you guys in the course of today's session. Please and please, if you have any question whatsoever, you are free to ask on the chat box, in which justice is going to be done as you keep moving ahead in the course of today. So all these actually important point, actually important point that we need to take note of when looking at them are actually important point that we need to pinpoint out when looking at them, what they're actually really all about, how can we actually go about them, what are the various factors and points we need to take note of when looking at them. And that is very very important that we take note of all this. But I think you guys are actually following me and getting what I'm actually dishing out to you guys in the course of today. Please, if you have any question whatsoever, please you can actually ask on the chat box. You can actually ask a question on the chat box, if justice is going to be done as we keep moving ahead in the course of today's section. Please, if you have any question, if you need any clarification whatsoever on what we're actually discussing about, you can kindly ask on the chat box in which justice is going to be done as we keep moving ahead. Now, you can see now, this actually allows developers not only to build their blockchain network but also to connect seamlessly without other blockchains. So now it actually helps you. Now this Cosmos, now it actually helps to actually build, it actually not only to just build their own network and other, but actually connect with other network, other blockchain network when looking at it. Now the Cosmos SDK is the most advanced framework for building Cosmos application specific blockchain today. Now the default constraints engine available with the Cosmos SDK is terminally called when looking at it on the real sense, and those logarithm and for the use cases and what they actually will all about. And now does the neural network have a token? Yes, it actually has a token which is you can currently get it. They actually have a native token which you can currently trade it on Gate.io, which I will advise everyone listening to me, please can you trade it on Gate.io. That is where you can actually find the token which you can actually trade on it when looking at it. And also when is neural network minutes and other this was actually a past information that's actually been done. Also, now where can I actually buy this token? You can currently buy it on Gate.io, and or you can currently buy it on Gate.io. It's being listed on Gate.io, which I will actually prefer you to actually buy and trade and order. So if you're here to start trading this token, it is now it's still a perfect time for you to go into the market to actually check on it, to actually say, okay, this is what is really about, this how I can actually trade. Is it long or short, or trying to hold it for a very long period of time, which is still Ignite's idea when looking at the market himself. So all these actually important points that we need to actually take note of. Now you can see they have a lot of announcements, they have a lot of news concerning their ecosystem, what they've been building, what they're actually really all about, and all this. Now you can see, okay, you can see neural network and also have a form of collaboration, NFT collaboration when looking at it, which is also a good sign when looking at it on the real sense and all that. You can actually see them, which is actually a good sign when looking at the ecosystem, what they actually really all about, what we need to take note of them when looking at it and all that. There is where you can actually get more information about what they're actually really about. You can see the NFT, this one you see guide to claim VIP ticket, netbox and all that. You can actually go to their website to get more information about what they're actually really all about. And so all these points in which we're talking about are actually important factors that we need to actually take note of when looking at the project itself, what the project actually really all about. Now here we have price prediction. What is the price prediction when looking at it on the real sense? What is the price prediction and all that when looking at it in the real sense? Now according to the latest data gathered, the current price is currently on 0. The current price is currently, when looking at the market, looking at what has been predicted concerning it, where is it currently, what is the price prediction of the market when looking at the token and other. Now, according to price prediction on what has been happening, or what is going to actually happen to the token when looking at it. Now, based on what we can actually say, you can say according now it was actually at 0.036. And also, it's actually ranked in around 30,191 in the entire crypto ecosystem and all that. Now, also in the past, you can actually see now in the past 24 hours, the crypto has decreased by 5% in its current value. Now, if we compare the market cap to where yesterday, you can see that it's actually down, and it's actually facing, and also the fact that the market is actually down and all that, that does not mean now the coin might have a very strong fundament. The strong that is actually is a very looking at it in a very long term, it's actually going to be profitable in a long term because it has a very strong use case and other. So looking at it in a very long term investment, you're actually going to see a huge profit coming out from the market and other. That is why we have, like I said, now the price. Looking at the forecast of the price prediction and all that about the price and other. One point you need to know is that if you are looking for investing in digital currency and you want good return, Now you have to understand the price prediction market of how the market. Now you can see based on this price prediction here, we have, you can see 2023 0.004 and other, well, 2023 it has not yet gone to an end. We can likely still the push in market to 0.004, 2024 0.006 and other. You can see it now. Just imagine investing in this token now. Okay, they say it's for it to come back to around 2.0, that in which it came on board around year 2021, 2021, 2022, 23, 24, 25. Yeah, 2021, 22, 23. That was 6 years. No, that was 2021, 22, 23. That was 30 years ago and all that. Now, okay, for it to actually get back to actually this thing, we have 2023, 2024, 2025. We also have 2026, and then about when it gets to 1 point, 2.3 points when looking at the market, which is actually, just imagine millions of naira that you will make if you buy it at least, if you invest in it, in looking at it in a long term form of investment, looking at it in a long term form of investment, to the huge profit that actually going to come out from it in a long run when looking at the market. So all these factors are actually all these factors which we are talking about are actually very important, that we need to actually take note of when looking at the market, what the market is all about, what are the various factors we need to consider when looking at the market himself. And I believe you guys are actually getting what I'm actually dishing out to you guys in the course of today's session. Please I say, if you have any question, if you need any clarification whatsoever on what we're actually talking about, you are free to ask on the chat box, in which justice is going to be done as we keep moving ahead in the course of today. So all these actually important factors that we need to take note of when looking at the market. What is the market currently saying? And this was actually, I told you guys, they actually had an AME on Gate.io and all that, which you can actually check. You can actually go back and check the AME and check what they've actually talked about on Gate.io, analyzing the token, what the token is actually really all about. What do you need to take note of when looking at the market, and all the important point that we need to take note of when looking at the market. And let's just bring this here again. Let's check more and now let's get more points about what is currently happening in the market space and other. Now looking at this market here that we have currently, you can see the price of the market, you can see the way the market has been moving. And the one point we need to understand when looking at the, okay, let's bring it here. So should I go to trading view? Okay, this is in a 1 hour time frame. Let's go to trading view to get more understanding about what we actually area. Now you can see now if I bring it to this area here, you can see the movement of the market here. You can see how the markets has actually been moving when looking at it. You can see this movement, it came here, up here, it came down. You can see this line here. The highest has gone to, it was this line which has gone to 0 point, after this movement we have here, which was 0.4 and other. So it has actually gotten, after this movement which was 0.4, which you can see here, the highest it was 0.4, and now we also have here, we have here 0.39 and all that. No, not 0.39, we have 0.8, 0.38 and all that. Now it's currently at 0.5 if I'm not mistaken. 0.5, 0.036 when that is the current price when looking at it on the recent. This is in the kind of now in a daytime frame, looking at it in a daytime frame, what is currently happening in the market, looking at it in a daytime frame. So you need to understand that, okay, this is what the market is actually, this is the range. So you can see based on this in a day frame, you can see the buying is actually more than people that are actually buying the tokens actually are more than this. So the potential of it actually pushing up is still very high, and that which is which are very important factors that we all need to consider, we all need to take note of when looking at the market, when looking at what the market is saying, what are the important factors that we need to consider when looking at the market and all that. So all these are actually important points that we need to take note of when looking at the market and what the market is saying, what are the various factors, what are the various points we need to take note of when looking at the market himself. And now looking at it on trading view, you can see the market, you can see the movement of the market from this area. You can see where it is currently. Now, like I said earlier, it's currently on 0.036 and other, which is still a good sign. And you can see this movement here to this area. You You can see this ranging here, it came down here and all that. So it's very, very important that we understand all these factors, all those points are actually very, very important that we need to take note of when looking at the market, when looking at what the market is actually really all about. What are the various points we need to take note of when looking at the market, and that all these points are actually very, very important that we must actually take note of when looking at the market and all that. All these actually important points that we need to take note of when looking at the market, what the market is saying. You can see this push in which you have here, this area in which you have here that caused this down, that caused this push that we have here, that caused this move in which you have here in the market, which is actually a point that we need to understand. You need to understand all these points that we're talking about are actually very, very important that we need to understand when talking about the market or when going about the market on any trade whatsoever. It is very, very important that we take note of all these points. All these points are actually very, very important that we must actually take note of when looking at the market space, what they are actually really about, what are the various factors we need to consider when looking at the market space and other. So we've gradually become to the end of today's interesting section. I believe you guys have gained a lot from what I've actually shared with you guys in the course of today's session. I don't know if you have any question whatsoever. Please, do we have any question? Do we have any question? Please, if you have any question, you're free to ask on the chat box. If you've understood a lot from what I've actually shared with you guys, please, you can actually just comment on the chat box to show that you have been with me all through the way and you guys understood very perfectly well what I've actually been sharing with you guys in the course of today's session. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone that's actually connected live with us in today's section. I really appreciate. Special time thanks to Get.io for bringing up this event for us to be able to learn. Please, if you're here to start trading on Get.io, I know that now is actually a perfect time for you to look into the market to start trading and all that. Now you invest. Now don't say that, okay, I'm staying off the market, that I don't want to actually go into the market to actually invest and all that. Well, in the long run, you actually lose off from the market. So you need to understand what the market is actually real about. How can you actually invest into the market? How be kind of a perfect way of going into the market, of actually investing, so you can actually get you huge profit in the long run. So that is all what we have for today's discussion. That's all what we'll be discussing, having in today's conversation. Thank you so much for everyone that has actually connected live. Join me same time tomorrow for another interesting conversation. Do have a blessed day and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye guys. See you tomorrow for another interesting conversation. Please, if you're here to follow my profile, please kindly do follow my profile. I'm also live on YouTube, so I'll actually also be dropping my YouTube link. Please kindly do follow me. We're also live on YouTube. Please can also follow me on YouTube or my YouTube channel, so that we actually connect to the rest of your day. Stay blessed.